Hey guys, Ryan here. Today we're going to be doing a sample reading for my new book, Pro Soaper. I know you guys have been waiting for this one. Today we're going to be reading chapter 11 entitled Soapstarz. And this is one of my favorite chapters in the book. So basically the story begins in the summer of '96 and it goes through aggressive inline skating and moves into the beginning of soap shoes, getting sponsored, starting to get paid, making these videos. And this chapter is much later. This is around 1999-ish, and this is when all of us are beginning. We're all on separate little tours, and we all have our own soap vans that have these detachable rails that come down from the roof, so kids can grind on them. And they have like the doors are cut out, so they have TV screens playing our video off into like when we're driving down the freeway or something. And this is just us going basically city to city, state to state, hotel from hotel, and banging fucking hot high school soap groupies. And yeah, this is one of my favorite chapters where I get into some erotic dialogue between me and this girl Caroline, who I met at a soap shoe demo at South Torrance. And what we would do is basically we would bring like a 6-foot table and chairs with a bunch of soap stickers, a clipboard to collect emails, and like soap banners. And we'd have a little hot rail, and we'd do demos during lunchtime for all the high school kids. And so all the girls would be like, oh my God, like who are these guys? And so back then, the way that I would pick up girls is that I would have a gang of these soap stickers in my pocket. And it's just a regular, a regular sticker. And but on the back of it, I would basically write my name and my pager number. And we didn't have cell phones back then, so I would just leave my pager number right there, and then I'd hand them out to all the girls at all the expos or at the high schools, and they would just page me up later, and things would happen. So let's get into it. Anyway, it's a fun chapter, and I hope you enjoy the little roller coaster we're about to get on. So strap in, lace up your soaps, and let's do this. So here we are, chapter 11. There's a picture right here on top of the soap van, throwing out basically free T-shirts and hats to kids, and that was life, Soap started sending us out to various trade shows all over the country. They had a few different custom soap vans built with rails which detached down from the roof, and had television monitors fashioned into the sides of the walls that played soap videos out into traffic. Soap was paying us $500 a week, plus $125 a day per diem for travel expenses, which I found out later in the world of touring that the words per diem was just a fancy term for beer money. Now, when I say that, you have to remember that in California, it's 21 is the legal drinking age, and at the time here, we're all 17, 18, 19 years old on the team. So our actual job was to set up soap booths at the various trade shows and perform live demos on Soap's hot rail, a small 6-foot-long portable metal practice rail, and then allow any of the trade show attendees who were there to try on a pair of soap shoes for themselves, and then attempt to grind the rail. Kids loved it. We were meeting thousands upon thousands of kids in every new city that we toured through each week. Some of the bigger trade shows were in excess of 20 to 50,000 plus attendees throughout the course of the weekend, so the word was getting out quick. Every place that we stopped, every school, park, YMCA, or even just random places that we thought looked cool, or it felt like sessioning at, even in the fronts of hotels that we were staying at, we would always throw out tons of free soap T-shirts, hats, and stickers to everyone. Now this is rock and roll, I thought. This is what I wanted to do as a job. Perform live, travel the world, meet beautiful women, and get paid for it. I knew it wasn't a 6 or 7 figure salary as of yet, but I felt that I was definitely on the right track. I know I can get these motherfuckers to see the light. I just know it. Maybe it'll just take time. But as soon as I can get them to understand my vision, as soon as they understand how pro we really are, as soon as I can educate them on how marketing really works so this company can generate more lucrative profits, that's when it's going to happen. They'll win, I'll win, and the customer will win as well. That's a real business strategy, I thought. Soap was paying for all of our hotel rooms, and I was using my per diem to help me keep my buzz on strong. Every day, I would fill up my ice chest with booze, along with tons of other snacks and goodies. And after work, I'd crank the air conditioning to the max, bump some gangster rap, get faded as fuck in my free hotel room, and enjoy my free food and what seemed like a limitless amount of alcohol. It was total rock star living. And, of course, I had to keep my soap skills sharp. So after I would get wasted, I practiced my misty flips by jumping from one hotel bed over to the next. So a misty flip is kind of like an inverted type of flip. It's like a 540, but it's sideways and your feet come up. You could check it out on my YouTube and stuff. But I would put the beds together and I would just kind of misty flip across. Drunk as fuck, it was dope. I'd always specifically request 2 king-sized beds in my hotel room. Or, if that option was unavailable, then I'd ask for 2 queen-sized beds. So, that at the end of the evening, I would be able to shove the nightstand out of the way. Or sometimes I'd just be a douchebag hotel guest and just leave it upside down in the bathtub for the maid to find the next morning. And would then push the 2 beds together, thus creating one huge emperor-sized bed. I always trashed the fuck out of every hotel room that I stayed in, and splattered all the walls and mirrors with fat fucking spit wads for shits and giggles. I stayed mainly on the West Coast circuit, traveling back and forth to various cities throughout California. Cities such as San Diego, Los Angeles, Rancho Cucamonga, San Mateo, San Francisco, Sacramento, etc., 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 with Brendan. Until later, when Soap flew Brendan over to Paris, France, to start Soap's international tour. Meanwhile, Danny and Paul toured throughout the North, the Midwest, and the East Coast of the United States, traveling throughout cities such as Las Vegas, Seattle, Portland, Cleveland, Atlanta, Cincinnati, New Jersey, and many, many others. I was asked if I'd wanted to do the Midwest tour, but since Sarah and I had just recently moved into our first apartment together and had been fighting all the time, always arguing, breaking up, and then trying to get back together again, but both still trying to work things out, I thought it ought not the best time to separate for weeks, and possibly even months at a time. And we go into a section break and moving into the next section of this chapter. It was early Sunday morning. I had just finished resetting everything back up in the soap booth for a mega ASR trade show that Brendan and I were working that weekend in San Mateo, California. And, apparently, one of the trade show attendees from the night before had enjoyed our demo so much that he had actually gone out and bought his own pair of soap shoes later that evening. I was sitting down at my desk, half hungover, trying to fill out my soap journal, as I had been neglecting it for the past few days, as I had been either getting wasted, flirting with girls, or working the trade show, and was suddenly interrupted by a pair of shoes and a gold Sharpie being pushed forward in my direction. "Can you do an autograph?" the young kid asked me. He was Asian. It was my first real autograph for soaping, though I thought I'd played it off rather nonchalantly. "Sure, little man. How you liking the shoes so far?" I asked him as I cracked open the lid of his Sharpie. "I love 'em, man," he replied. "I was grinding around all morning." The young boy was quite chipper for such an early hour in the day. I could tell he was being authentic, and I appreciated his enthusiasm. I wrote, "Keep sliding, bro," in gold cursive letters. And then, underneath, I autographed it with Ryan J, number 1. Jay was a nickname given to me by Danny, who, even after 10 years of knowing me since the 3rd grade, still could never properly pronounce my last name, Jaunzemis, which is phonetically pronounced in English as Jaunzemis, shortened from its Latvian origin, Jaunzem, which is actually pronounced Jaunzem, meaning of the new land. The first time Danny called me Jay was when we were out skating and had been filming part of my sponsor video. Danny turned the camera around towards himself for a quick monologue. "Let me introduce you to my friend Ryan Ryan J." he said loudly, chuckling to himself. All of the other skaters around exploded into laughter, as even I know that my last name can be a bit difficult and confusing at first. Though, all the girls that I've met seem to like it, as they say it's different and unique. I thought the joke was pretty funny myself, and after that, it just sort of stuck. Brendan wasn't there to get the joke, which is why my name appears Ryan J without the AY in the Relate Soap videos 1 and 2. If I had seen the rough cuts before the final copies were released, I would have then had Brendan use my full name. Then we go into section break into part 3. Touring was great, and I was shredding it up now more than ever. I had made tons of new friends on the road, met lots of cute girls, and had many random drunken nights with the fellas. I had fallen in love with the new blue and yellow suede and orange and gray Ordnance shoes. I had thought that they performed even better than the cleans. They were also lighter on my feet as well. Also, in my own personal opinion, had a much more stylish look. I was now fast sliding down super long rails, and was even able to backslide and Savannah through kinks. Things in the world of soaping felt like they were finally taking off. But, unfortunately, everything seems to come with a price, as on the home front, things were becoming rather dark. Sarah and I were constantly fighting, bickering about this and that and everything else. I was on drugs, and we seemed to be developing a lot of drama within our relationship. After a huge fight amongst the two of us, we both decided to take a break for a while. We both packed up, and I moved back over to my mom's house. Sarah moved her stuff over to her dad's house, and then went on vacation back to England for a few weeks. I was kind of pissed, because it made me regret not taking the tour to the Midwest, as I would have rather gone balls out, soaped all over the country, but I had stayed back trying to salvage the relationship. The stress of everything was beginning to affect me mentally, as we had now been together for the last 2 years, and the breakup between us hurt me rather severely. I wish that we could have worked out our issues and our differences, but we were both very different people with very different ideas of what we both wanted for the future. So, in light of everything, we both felt that a separation would be best, at least for the time being. We did, however, make up shortly thereafter, for a time. Whatever. It is what it is, I thought. Though I was still sad and heartbroken. Then it goes into a picture sequence of us moving out of the apartment. It was all depressing and, yeah, that crazy. Brendan and I were finishing up on our tour and hitting the last few trade shows and demo spots. One of our last spots was back in Los Angeles. This particular week, Soap had sent Brendan and myself to South Torrance High School to perform a demo during the students' lunchtime break. It was a normal small venue load-in, Soap's hot rail, a 6-foot table and 2 chairs, our soap banner, attached by gaffer's tape along the front, various models of tester shoes for students to try on, a guest book to collect emails and personal contact information, Soap's business and company cards, and of course, plenty of soap stickers. Giving away soap stickers at these events and trade shows had always been a favorite pastime of mine, as we had quickly found out that all the girls loved soap stickers. Brendan and I would take turns demoing various tricks on the hot rail and show off the various capabilities of the shoes. We would then allow volunteers to try on a pair of shoes in their size and attempt to grind the hot rail themselves. I would always bust out something really flashy, like a Unity to fast slide, or a quick hat behind the back trick. So just real quick, a unity is like a cross-legged grind, and then you jump over and go to one foot. Or the hat behind the back trick is taking the hat off and go behind the back with one hand, pull it from the other hand, and keep grinding. Girls like that shit. Or a quick hat behind the back trick, and then smile at whatever attractive girls were nearby. The girls would always then ask me to help them slide down the hot rail, which of course, I didn't mind doing in the least, as it would quickly break the barrier of physical contact between us. I would always give a good excuse for both myself and for the ladies to begin holding hands. Along with the fact that it would instantly set the frame of a student-teacher relationship. And, as we all know, women are usually attracted to men who hold some type of position of power, higher stature, or authority. As a girl would smile and then return my elongated look, meaning, I bust a trick, and I kind of smile over her, if she'd look back, I just knew it was on. As the girl would smile and then return my elongated look, I would then know instantly that it was on with her. Tag, you're up, dog, I would say as I'd high-five Brendan, signaling to him that he was up. If I would meet a girl, then I would just kind of tag him in. He could go demo for a while, and I'd go basically work my target. I would head back to our workstation and prescribe my name, phone, and pager number on the backs of soap stickers, and would then place them safely into my pants pocket. I would then spontaneously hand them out throughout the event to specific girls in which I thought I might be interested in. And we go into a section break into part 4. 2 sophomore girls approached my desk near the end of our lunchtime session. A blonde and a brunette. Halen and Caroline. Wow, that was really, really cool. That slidey thing you did back there? The brunette said. I looked up at her from my desk. Cute. You ain't seen nothing yet, I said as I flashed my eyebrows up and cracked a half smile from the right side of my mouth. So I kind of look up and I'm like, You ain't seen nothing yet. The girls looked at each other and giggled, and the brunette tucked a strand of hair behind one ear. It was totally on. I sighed. I can already tell. You 2 girls look like trouble. The words rolled off my tongue like water. I'd used the line before numerous times on tour with numerous groups of girls. The girls looked at each other and burst out into laughter. Ha ha, we are trouble, they both replied in unison. I don't know, I said. I don't know if you guys could handle me. What's the craziest thing you've ever done? I knew I'd already had them eating out of the palm of my hand, but, like a tiger, I had the urge to play with my prey a few moments before I devoured it. It gives me the feelings of power and control, which I yearn for. Haha, I don't know, the young blonde laughed as she replied. I put some vodka in my Slurpee and drank it in class this one time, said the brunette. Ha ha, laughed the blonde. Oh my God, I totally remember that day. Ha ha. Vodka Slurpee, eh? I said, smiling. Very cool. I like that. High five. I raised up both of my hands, and the girls reached out to give me a double high five back. You girls seem pretty cool. I don't have any more t-shirts, I told them, as I stealthily slid the full and unopened box of soap t-shirts further underneath my desk with one foot. So I kind of slid under so they couldn't see. But I do have a few stickers if you want some. I pulled a sticker out from my pants pocket with my name and page number pre-written on the back and handed it to the brunette. The brunette seemed exceedingly more fun and flirtatious than the blonde. She was just my type. Had I been playing a game of darts, I couldn't have hit a more solid bullseye. "Thanks," the girl said in unison. "I autographed the back of that one for you. Hold on to it. Might be worth money someday," I said to her as I playfully winked, whilst then quickly shifting my attention back towards thumbing through the guest book and trying to appear as if I was busy. The brunette flipped the sticker over. I had wrote, "Ryan, sexy soaper guy from school. 310-322-1276. On the back, in black Sharpie. The brunette showed her friend, and the two girls giggled again. I saw the two look back at me through my peripheral vision, as the brunette then placed the sticker into her purse, smiling and biting her lower lip. The fish had taken the bait. Yes, I thought. At that point, I knew it was now just merely a waiting game. 2 days later, I got a phone call. A sexy young feminine voice on the other end. "Hi, is this Ryan?" The voice said. "Yeah, what up?" I replied, already having a good idea as to who it was. "Oh, this is Halen. Remember that girl Caroline from the other day?" she asked me. Who?" I replied, asking as though I'd forgotten, but I knew exactly who it was. "You gave her a sticker," Halen said. Oh yeah, hey, what's up?" I replied. "Well, we just wanted to call and say hi. We're pretty drunk. Haha," Halen said, laughing. A Grinch who stole Christmas type smile slowly began emerging over my face. These girls are so down. "Wow," I exclaimed. "I just walked in the door from work. Perfect timing. It's been a really long day. I could totally go for a drink." I had been sitting around all day watching TV, but I wanted to appear as if I had other things going on so that they would feel lucky to have had some of my valuable time. "But I can only hang out for a bit," I continued. "I've got to be up early for a meeting tomorrow." "Oh, that's okay," Halen said. Halen gave me the directions to her house. But at the moment, I knew this match was 2 versus 1, and I needed to even the score. I needed a wingman. Someone who could keep Halen occupied so that I could more easily lure Caroline away to a more private setting without having to alienate Halen. So, I called up my friend Mike Bruss and told him the situation. Mike has always been one of my downest homies ever since the get-go. "Hell yeah, bro," Mike said, laughing. "You know I got your back. I'll be out front in 15, yo." I had to get pumped up, so I put on my Paula Abdul CD and started dancing around to her song Opposites Attract. And then I grabbed a quick shower, got dressed, and gave myself a look over in the mirror. I was all geared up in my brand new gray Soap O hoodie, kind of like this one, but it was gray with a black O, and rocking a brand new pair of shiny white scabs, aka the polar bears, as pro soaper Chris Fox would refer to them as. "Yeah, boy. That's how pros do it," I said out loud to myself in the bathroom mirror as I sprayed on a few blasts of Angel Cologne onto my neck and wrists. "What's up, girl? You ready to meet the king? King Ding-a-ling?" "Oh, yeah, boy." I was talking out loud to myself in the mirror again. "I'm gonna get that pussy, After I finished getting ready, I proceeded to snatch my mom's keys and headed upstairs to meet Mike. 27? Mike asked as he held out a Marlboro Special Blend 27 cigarette. took it. Aw, yeah! It's going to be one of those nights, dog, I said as I opened the moonroof on my mom's brand new white Toyota Avalon that I'd swanked for the evening. The burning embers of ash detached from the end of my cigarette, blowing silently away into the night, as Mike and I cruised down Pacific Coast Highway, heading towards South Torrance, bumping some Bone Thugs and Harmony on the CD player, while tactfully creating a winning pickup strategy for the evening. We arrived at Caroline's house in South Torrance. The girls were drunk, laughing out loud, and rolling off of the couch onto the living room floor. I needed to pawn Mike off to Halen so that he could occupy her, while I would then attempt to take Caroline somewhere else, a little more private. Since Halen had never met Mike before, the first thing I did was to introduce him to her and talk him up so that she might begin to feel a little bit more comfortable. "This is my best friend Mike," I told her. "This guy is fucking awesome. Blah, blah, blah." I went on and on about Mike for the next 2 to 3 minutes, telling her things such as, "This guy is so great. He volunteers part-time at the animal shelter." And, "He's the smartest guy I know." And, etc., etc., etc. You get the idea. I even told her that he was in fucking med school. Within just minutes, Halen was instantly swooning over Mike. I had no problem blatantly lying to the girls, as I knew most likely that we would never see each other again after that night anyways. Sometimes you just have to tell them what they want to hear. As Halen's attention finally shifted away from me and fully onto Mike, I then stealthily ejected myself from the conversation to thus rejoin Caroline on the couch. Hi. I'm drunk," Caroline said as she sat there with a drunken smirk on her face. She was completely obliterated. Perfect, I thought to myself. I looked at Caroline dead in the eyes and took her face in my hands and began to kiss her. Slow at first, as if just to test the waters, and then harder and more passionately a moment later. Caroline seemed to enjoy it, and then, all of a sudden, began to straddle one leg over mine, and then she sat up in my lap and began kissing and nibbling my neck. There was no more need for games at this point. It was obviously time to seal the deal. "Come on, let's go," I told her, as I stood up, taking her firmly by the hand. "Huh? Where are we going?" she asked, slightly confused. "Adventure," I told her. "Come on, let's go," I said enthusiastically. "You don't mind if I borrow your friend for just a few minutes, do you? I just want to show her my mixtape real quick," I asked Halen. "I don't mind," Halen answered. I took Caroline by the hand and led her straight out Halen's front door, down the driveway, and then right into the back of my mom's Avalon. Caroline climbed in right after me, and we continued making out. It was as if no time had even passed during the transition. I leaned back to relax a bit. The Avalon's gray leather seats were cool and comfortable. I've always loved the smell of new leather. "Go down on me," I said to Caroline blatantly. It was almost cocky-like when I said it, but still spoken with a playful, boyish charm. Though I could tell by Caroline's vibe that it wouldn't really have mattered what I said at this point. This girl was down for whatever. Without hesitation, Caroline dropped down onto her knees onto the Avalon's newly carpeted floor and began unzipping my pants. She pulled out my cock and then took me into her mouth, balls deep. It was amazing. Yeah, now that's gangsta, I thought to myself. I started thinking to myself that I'd come there not just for a blowjob, but to fuck this girl. But I was paralyzed in my seat with pleasure and decided to just kick back, relax, and enjoy it. I brushed my palm against the foggy back window to check on Mike and Halen, so as to make sure there would be no interruptions. I noticed the two of them were both sitting outside in the middle of Halen's driveway smoking cigarettes. Perfect, I thought. So I'm getting some head, and the window's foggy, and I just kind of open it, check on him real quick. It's cool. Get back to business. Mike was talking Halen's ear off, not trying to impress her or spit any game, but rather simply trying to keep her occupied whilst I handled business. That, my friends, is a real wingman. Unselfish and unjust. "I love your cock," Caroline said. "Shh. Don't talk with your mouth full, girl," I said jokingly, as I ran my fingers through her silky brown hair. Caroline continued sucking my cock and licking my balls, and then looked up into my eyes seductively as she continued stroking it. "Baby, I want to taste it." Oh my God, this is fucking amazing, I thought to myself. I ran my fingers through her hair, and she put her mouth back on my cock and started using her hand, jacking me off now, even harder. I was so turned on that I couldn't hold my load back for another second, and I exploded down the back of her throat, though the fun didn't just stop there. "Where'd it go?" I asked her. I had to make sure that she wasn't one of those weird girls that spits. I didn't want to have to explain to my mom why there were fucking cum stains all over her new carpet. Caroline flashed her eyebrows up at me while biting her lower lip flirtatiously. So she kind of, "You're not going to find it," she told me. Apparently, Caroline had just swallowed every last drop of my hot white load. I leaned back and blurted out a line to Neil Diamond's song, "Sweet Caroline." I just couldn't resist. So I leaned back and I'm like, "Sweet Caroline, oh, 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 good times never seem so good." Caroline bust up laughing. "So you liked it, huh?" she asked me. "Oh my God," I replied. "That was amazing." After that, I thought she was going to have to get back to her friend, as we'd now been down in the car for about a good 20 minutes or so. But she stayed right down on the floor of the car, as if feeling right at home, and continued to suck my cock again for yet another 45 minutes, until I came yet a second time. Back-to-back blowjobs on the first date? Damn! This chick is a keeper for sure. I was enjoying the rock star treatment. And then, afterwards, I smiled and leaned back, nestling deep into the Avalon's cool and comfortable, cushiony leather seats, and interlacing my hands behind my head. Finally, I thought. So I'm leaning back into the seat, I'm feeling the cushiony leather, put my hands up, like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking soap star. Feeling good. This is where I wanted to be. This was how I wanted to be living. Getting paid, getting laid. This was the life that I've been dreaming about. These were the types of moments that I stayed up late at night, lying in my bed fantasizing about and yearning for. To me, this is what being pro was all about. And, best of all, I knew that this was only the beginning. "I'd like to see you again," I told Caroline. "Sure, I'd love to," she replied happily. Caroline and I had made plans to meet up again later on in the week, though this time it would just be the two of us, to which I would then seal the deal. I held her pretty face in my hands and kissed her passionately as we said our goodbyes to one another for the evening. She had shocked the shit out of me. Not at all what I was expecting, and I had to see her again. Not just to bang her, but to also see if there might just be something more. The chemistry between us was just too strong to not at least try to explore any further possibilities. Mike shook both of the girls' hands so as to carefully keep his perfect gentlemanly persona and composure, and then hopped into the passenger seat of the Avalon. "Mad props, Jay," Mike told me as he pounded my fist. "Thanks, man," I replied. "And dude, I fucking owe you one, bro." Like, oh my god, that bitch gave me some bomb-ass head, bro. She was fucking amazing, bro. Amazing. "Damn, Jay," replied Mike. "That's fucking tight, bro." "Man, she was being so nice to me," I said, slightly blushing. "I kind of like her. She seemed really sweet." "Nice, dude, nice," Mike said. "That's tight, bro. Most bitches these days ain't about shit. Good pull, man." I flipped on Power 106 FM on my mom's stereo so as to add in a bit of background noise while Mike and I gossiped together about all of the juicy little details of the evening, like two giddy little middle school girls, as we drove off into the night, smoking a few more of Mike's 27s, only to make one final stop at Ralph's Grocery Mart so that I could pick up some more Febreze to spray my mom's car so that she wouldn't know that, one, I'd taken it without her permission for the evening, and two, that I'd been smoking in it. Once Mike and I had gotten back to El Segundo, I called up Scott and gave him some money to buy Mike and I a case of beer from the liquor store down by my house. Scott came through, but he had work early the next morning, so I blazed him a bowl as a kind and friendly thank you before he took off. After he took off, Mike and I just hung out in my garage, got all fucked up drinking beers, smoking bowls, playing darts, shooting the shit, and celebrating the night's success. Bullseye. Well, it was fun hanging out. I love that chapter, you know, good times, good memories. And if you want to find out what happens next, I guess you'll just have to pick up the book. Alright guys, if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Leave some comments in the box below. And we'll see you on the next one. Be safe. Stay soaping.